Hi,
Hello.
we're prancing.
Yes, we are prancing.
This is Cha Cha. He sucks. Like a lot. End of sentence.
I have no opinions on Cha-Cha so far, other than he looks like a turnip.
Alright, so like, the thing about Monster Hunter is in most of the other games, you get felines as your companions. So you get yourself a cat. And I told you that in 4 Ultimate, you get yourself a cat that you actually make yourself, and you get that one. And then in Generations, you can play as a feline if you feel so inclined.
That makes Generations the best game by default.
No, I've got opinions on Monster Hunter, but the main thing is just like Cha-Cha, by comparison, is terrible.
Well, yeah, he's not a cat.
Just awful. Like, he's just so bad, and I don't really feel like I need to get into that. He's just bad by virtue of not being a cat, and also because like he's mechanically terrible.
The way his head is bobbing is fucking with me.
Alright, so Cha-Cha has stats. You can equip him with different masks. You can select combinations of dances to choose what he does. And none of this makes up for the fact that he's not a cat and has otherwise terrible abilities.
Like, what do his masks do?
Well, most importantly, the masks change what kind of monsters he'll fight and win. But we'll go ahead and have him come with us anyway.
Kind of like Final Fantasy XII's Gambits or whatever?
Kinda. It's a lot simpler than those. It's pretty much just like, hey, if I'm wearing this mask, I'll take on large monsters first, or if I'm wearing this mask, I won't fight at all, or something like that.
Rudimentary AI control.
Yeah, and different masks will have different like abilities. Right now we're wearing the Acorn mask. It doesn't have any abilities. Just it's appropriately terrible for Cha-Cha. But the main thing is just like you don't really need Cha-Cha, and in the other games you don't necessarily need to have a cat with you. But you're gonna want a cat with you, whereas in this game, I feel like there's only like one mission that we'll see way later on, where it's like, yeah, I could really use Cha-Cha here. That would make things a lot easier. But that's not until way later. But hey, the gal with the goods has a new thing, and we want to buy it immediately. We can get the Pack Rat Guide, or the Organizer Guide, which will give us 2 additional pages of items in the item bots. And it costs like all of our Zenny, but it's really important.
Yeah, that is super handy. And you can get more Zenny later, but item slots are always going to be at a premium, right?
Yeah, that's... we were going to hunt a Kurapeka, but we'll come back to that. First, let's talk about combining stuff.
Wait, what?
Don't worry about it. Alright, so anyway, take 2 items, and you can make a thing. First, let's put away some stuff, because we don't need all that.
Still got our barbecue spit, so we can still cook. That's always useful.
So we got like 2 potions. What would be great is instead we had like 30.
That would be pretty handy, yeah. Or 22.
And take some potions, combine them with honey to make mega potions. So we're gonna want honey all the time because mega potions are fantastic.
They just heal for more?
Yeah, they heal for more than a normal potion.
Well, fair enough.
I think it's like 1.5 times as much as a potion.
That's pretty handy. Are potions like percentage based, or is it?
Potions are they're not percentage based. It's always a flat amount. Just like the baseline for your health, unless before armor skills, is 100, and the maximum it can possibly be is 150. So potions heal a flat amount.
Okay, it sounds like in this one case it's better to have it that way.
Yeah. So naturally, like that means if you are like not prepared and you don't eat beforehand, potions will actually take you a little bit further. But actually, what you're probably going to want to do, since you should be eating before every quest, is you're actually probably going to want to take potions, mega potions, and a stack of honey with you.
Can you combine in the field?
Yes, and if you want, you can take books of combos with you to make it so that you will succeed more likely. It's really handy to be able to combine on the field, especially if you run out of materials, because you can actually, in most arenas, you can actually gather herbs and blue mushrooms, which will get you potions. So you're gonna wanna take note of where all the resources are in each area. So if things go bad, you can go get them.
All right, well, that makes sense.
Okay, so we got a bunch of stuff to talk about with Junior. Mainly just some villager requests. We got a bunch of stuff we can do to upgrade the farm, but there's some stuff we can't like do right now. But you know, we're gonna try and get those taken care of relatively soon, so that we can start really being self-sufficient. But we're already on our way there. So, you know, we need some things. There's new honey bots. We definitely need that. But let's go hunt a Qurupeco.
All right, what is a Qurupeco?
It's a Qurupeco.
It doesn't help me any.
Oh no, don't worry about it. It's fine.
All right, I guess I'll just wait.
So thus far, would you say that I've been pretty on my shit with hunting?
Yeah. I mean, Bear.mp4 was a pretty good way of showing that.
Oh yeah, there was no mistakes made in that video at all. But like, imagine you're playing this game for the first time. You know, you're not watching anything about it, not looking up anything. You're just out. You just sort of thumb through the manual and decided, you know, I'm gonna go for it.
Game's called Monster Hunter. I'm gonna kill me some monsters.
I'm gonna go hunt some fucking monsters. So you just keep going through everything, just, you know, bam, bam, bam. So like, I haven't upgraded the switch axe at all. It only has yellow sharpness, which is not great, and that will become a problem.
So based on what you said before the cut, I'm going to assume that people who have played this before are now screaming at you.
Oh yeah, some people may not be happy, but hey, you can try and sneak past monsters, but Cha-Cha's about to ruin that for us by not sneaking. A little prick. If you sneak for long enough without a monster seeing you, they'll change areas. Also, hey, what's that?
That is a doofy-looking pterodactyl. What is that in the corner?
Don't worry about it.
But you called attention to it.
But don't worry about it. It'll be fine. So anyway, this is Qurupeco.
You sure are bouncing off him a lot.
Yeah, he's a tough customer early on in the game. At this point, you technically do have access to weapons with green sharpness, and you want one for this fight because you bounce off practically every part of them except for the beak. So you're going to see a lot of sword mode. Sword mode's really cool, but there's some little quirks we're going to have to deal with. For one, he just stunned us. Stun can happen to you as well as the monsters, so you don't want it to happen to you.
Thank God for Cha-Cha then.
Okay, so sword mode does not bounce per se. But you may notice I'm just sort of keeping going even when I hit. But you're still sort of hearing the bounce noise. And that's because in terms of like mechanics, it is a bounce. It's taking off the, you know, twice as much sharpness, and it's doing about half as much damage. But because we're using sword mode, it has something called Mind's Eye, or ESP. And basically what it means is it'll keep going instead of bouncing off, meaning you won't get knocked out of a combo.
That is pretty handy to have.
Yeah, you just want to kind of like stick to the monster. You don't move as fast when you're in sword mode, so that makes closing distance kind of rough. Also, Turapetro can call for friends.
Is that what it's doing? Its mouth turned into a trumpet?
You might have actually heard it. It sounded sort of like the Great Jaddy when it did that.
Speaking of which...
This Jaddy is not the target of this quest. So we want him to go away. We're going to use a Dun Bomb on him.
You threw poop at the Jaggy.
I threw poop at the Jaggy. We're going to be throwing lots of poop in this game. That's just the thing that happens.
It's a very mature and sophisticated game.
Oh yeah, it's super mature. But also, like, Dun Bombs have a very important use in that if you there's monsters in an area that you want to go away, you throw a Dun Bomb at them. And that's going to be something, we're going to eventually be carrying a stack of those wherever we go.
What is this asshole over here on the left doing?
Oh god, okay, so Rhenopoulos is a dick and I hate him. All Rhenopoulos are the scum of the earth, that's their mechanic. So anytime you see Rhenopoulos, kill them. And, you don't have to carve them, but, you might want the stuff they have. But more or less, they're just shitty, terrible monsters that I hate with all my heart. And you're about to see why, because here it comes! Here it comes! Fuck you, you stupid rhino! You prick! God, I hate them so much. They're so... God, fucking damn it, they're so infuriating, because they always charge you at the worst times. But hey, we did a thing. We sharpened our weapon.
Is that what that counter is?
Yeah. So, what would you say the counter's gonna end at in this video?
I hope not more than one.
Well, it's definitely gotta be more than one, because I wouldn't put a counter up otherwise. It would have been just like, oh, okay, it's once. But, like, yeah, okay, so like, as you know, whenever you hit enemies, your sharpness decreases little by little until you go down. There's little benefits or detriments with sharpness, and at certain range you'll either lose power from your weapon or gain power. And green sharpness is actually sort of like the baseline.
So we're working from behind the curve with yellow already.
Yeah, we start off a little behind the curve. The penalties for yellow sharpness ain't too bad, honestly. Once you
what, 5% maybe?
Orange or red. Yeah, it's nothing too bad.
Okay.
But you definitely want to, keep your sharpness as high as possible, and especially now more than ever because we're fighting a monster that we bounce off of already. So that's going to be something we're going to need to work on fixing after this fight. But like I said, this fight is sort of show off like, hey, what if you rush things and don't prepare? Like a matter of fact, it could be worse. We could have not bothered with combinations, and we would be out potions and stuff. But hey, we broke one of its flints, the little clackers on its wings. If you break both of those, the little attack it does where it clacks them together and sets you on fire, takes one additional clack to do, so it kind of slows it down a little bit. You can use sonic bombs to stop it from buffing itself or calling for others. So you definitely want to do that if you have sonic bombs available. And it works 100% of the time. You don't have to worry about it gaining resistance to that.
Well, there goes your sharpening again.
Yep. And like I said, even though it doesn't seem like we're bouncing, we definitely still are. So this fight is gonna take a while. So I might screw it. I'm gonna go into the next zone. I'm gonna get all back in order, and I'm gonna go back and fuck him up. And so I take myself a ration. Matt's my stamina out. I go ahead and use a first aid med to get a little bit of health back. Don't need it all back because like he doesn't hurt bad, but we'll go ahead and take both of them. So we're totally done getting prepared, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. You definitely didn't forget to sharpen your blade.
Yeah, it's absolutely, positively ready. So I'm like, yeah, oh wait. So I run over here and I'm like, maybe I can get it in time. They're far enough away and they're paying attention to Cha-Cha. And that's like one of the very few benefits of Cha-Cha is that he will occasionally distract monsters.
So when you sharpen your blade, can you only go up like one level at a time, or are there better sharpening stones?
You generally only go up one rank at a time. So like, say you like on this Switch Jets in particular, say we went past orange sharpness and went all the way down to red.
Right.
Which should not happen ever, but you know, say it did. If we used a whetstone, it would take us back up to orange.
That's good to know.
So yeah, Turfecho, if it manages to get a sawn off, it can actually buff itself or even heal itself.
Oh shit.
So yeah, you definitely don't want to let it do that, and we only had so many sonic bombs, so that's a shame. If we had a weapon with green sharpness, we'd probably be able to stop it because we wouldn't be bouncing, we'd be doing full damage.
Seems like if you're underprepared, this gets annoying real fast.
Yeah, you definitely want to keep on top of everything, but hey, at least this time we managed to stop it. So it runs away, drops a shiny. We get the buff, actually. So that worked out. But, you know what? Hey, Jaddy is not the target, but let's get rid of Jaddy. Like,
yeah,
right
fuck
now.
this Jaggy. Don't need to have two things smacking at you, we can only have one.
Yeah, and the thing is like, even though the Jaddy isn't the primary target of the hunt, because it is a large monster, if we hunt it, we will get some free hunting bonuses. And this includes additional Zenny and some great Jaddy parts.
Always handy to have both.
Yeah, and here's the problem, is if I'm focusing on the Jaddy, that means the Turfecho can just sort of do whatever it wants.
Dance around like a moron.
Yeah, I'm out of dun bombs, so I can't get it to go away. Although it just did anyway. But we'll just go back to...
Did it get bored?
Yeah, they just sort of do that.
Oh,
basically,
no.
basically, Turfecho's AI is set up in such a way that if you're not paying attention to it, it will just sort of fuck off and do what it wants.
Very needy monster. So please tell me it doesn't go past 3, because this is bad.
Ah, well, you know, there's still time left in the video.
You do not fill me with confidence, sir.
Well, you know, I do my best, and except during this video where I don't intentionally, and I'm like, hey, you know, this is important. You need to know to do this. And I bet everyone watching the thread is just like, duh, dumbass, fucking.
Everyone watching the video right now is screaming themselves hoarse.
I'm sure there's someone out there who's like, I don't like upgrading things, and I don't know why that would be a person that exists, but I'm sure there is someone out there that is like that. But no, upgrade your shit.
Yeah, please do so.
So hey, like, the neat thing is, we've been using sword mode in alpha a lot. It doesn't take a lot to recharge your sword mode. You see the little meter up there, right next to our sharpness. It fills up over time, and every time we hit anything with axe mode, it fills up a little bit more. So it's really easy to keep on top of sword mode. I personally like axes a whole lot, so I tend to stick in axe mode, especially because it's a little bit more mobile. But it's perfectly possible to stay in sword mode practically the entire hunt. So hey, this Jaddy is having a bad day, and we're gonna keep ignoring Turfecho so it'll fuck off too.
Make it throw a tantrum.
But honestly, you know, I'm getting a little tired of this big shit, right? So, we're not gonna see the entire rest of the hunt. After we take down the Jaddy, we're actually gonna just sort of like move it on a little bit. But basically, like, look at our timer up there. We're already at the 10-minute mark. Normally, this fight shouldn't take longer than about 5-6 minutes, and that's if you free hunt the Great Jaddy as well.
So yeah, we upgrade your shit, folks, please.
Yeah, and we were also a
What the fuck was that?
From me. Yeah, Melanie's just stole a paintball from me. And
Bad
I'm like,
cat.
okay, it's okay. I can still get it back. It's only over here, and I go to swing and whoop, miss.
With
And so that cat just stole my paintball.
what an asshole.
I know, right? They're still adorable though. And there is a way to get those things back, so you don't have to worry too much about it.
Yes, smack it with your sword.
But yeah, just like if you don't upgrade your stuff, I mean, like consider this. Imagine if I had not got the mini whetstones from the item box, and I had used 3 whetstones. Whetstones aren't cheap. So if you're not upgrading your stuff and you're having to constantly sharpen your weapons and you're getting torn apart by monsters because you haven't been upgrading your armor, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Either you're going to faint. Also, here's this.
Did you just chainsaw that Jaggy?
Yeah, if you hit X and A in sword mode, it causes an elemental burst, which is a really strong move that does a lot of damage.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be costing yourself a lot of money if you don't upgrade your stuff. So this will probably be the only time I ever seem to go into things unprepared unless I like just totally forget. So let's go ahead and finish this up. So I think we're all tired of seeing this, and we'll go ahead and show the elemental burst hopping in. The initial stab is really strong too.
5 times.
5 times. So out of those 5 times, 3 of those whetstones were mine, and that means I spent a nice chunk of change effectively. If I hadn't gathered those on my own, I mean even then it still counts as like time lost because I wasted those freaking whetstones, and I had to sharpen all the time, and it was doing so little damage. Please upgrade your shit.
Yeah, please upgrade your stuff. This is a PSA.
But hey, we're back. Cha-Cha got a little bit stronger, but who cares?
Fuck you, Cha-Cha. We lost a paintball because of you.
Yeah, when Cha-Cha levels up, he gains a little bit more health. He gains some abilities that he can take on, like affinity boost, defense boost, etc. Also, we opened up some new quests. Let's talk about quests. I'm kind of sour on our hunts, but that's okay. At least we may have got snacks. I don't know. Guild Sweetheart says she got snacks, but
Snacks are cool.
she already ate our share.
Why?
No,
But snacks.
I need
God.
those.
God damn it, Cha-Cha. This is your fault too.
I needed those snacks.
Just fuck you, Cha-Cha.
I needed them.